David, a successful but lonely man, accidentally adopts Ethan, a boy believed to be his son after a chance encounter at an orphanage. Adopting Ethan completely changed David's life. He must learn how to be a father, overcome the difficulties of raising children, and face the painful secrets of his past. Gradually, David and Ethan build a close father-son relationship, and David also finds true love with Ethan's teacher, Olivia. The story is David's journey to maturity, his journey to rediscover himself and discover the value of family, love, and sacrifice. And now let's get into the story. David grew up in an orphanage, knowing nothing about his parents. His mother was admitted to the hospital without documents and fled shortly after giving birth. He was retarded and sickly, and no foster parents took him in. Despite his difficult childhood, the boy grew up smart and goal-oriented. He always told himself that he would become a successful man. The other kids laughed, but years later, David actually succeeded. Immediately after leaving the orphanage, he started working hard. David is a quick-witted guy who quickly realized the potential of e-commerce. His online store soon took the top spot in the country, and he became a millionaire. Despite his wealth, David was not arrogant. He always tried to help the orphanage where he grew up during the holidays, bringing many good things and toys to the children, inviting artists to perform, brightening the children's lives. However, he knows that the most important thing he cannot give them is a family, something he once dreamed of like crazy. As the years passed, David began to think that having a wife and children would be a good idea. However, he is used to living alone and doesn't know if it can change. Women did not stay long in David's life, as he felt most only needed money from him. But he still dreams of finding a woman to love with all his heart, and that she will reciprocate those feelings. One day, David came to the orphanage with gifts. As usual, the children were walking outside. Many children recognized David and waved happily. He smiled warmly at them. Suddenly, a boy about 5 years old walked out of the group, ran to David, hugged his leg, and cried loudly. The staff tried to comfort him, but the boy kept crying, calling David Dad and asking to take him home. David was confused, having never seen the children react like that before. The boy's words touched his heart. That day, instead of discussing the repair with the principal, he gave the gift bag to the staff and rushed to the car with the excuse of an emergency. Unimportant matters are just excuses because David's date is already scheduled. When he got into the car, he realized his hands were shaking. A moment later, he started the car and drove home. Throughout that day, the boy did not leave his mind. He had never seen the boy before, perhaps he had just arrived. But why did he think David was his father? The next day, he returned to the orphanage. The boy calling him Dad made his soul stir. David decided to meet with the principal to discuss the situation. She greeted him with a smile and apologized for yesterday's incident. She explained that situations like this often happen. Children always want to be taken away and wait for their parents. David understood this, but couldn't understand why the boy called him Dad. In his eyes, it seemed like he had actually met his father. The principal admitted that something was strange. The boy's name is Ethan, who just arrived at the orphanage 2 weeks ago. Even before meeting David, in his drawing, Ethan depicted a man who looked exactly like him and said he was his father. She showed some drawings, and David recognized the distinctive scar on his right cheek, which was unmistakable. He got this scar in a fight at school. Ethan's teacher entered the room, saying she had asked him about the drawings. Ethan said that his mother talked about his father when he appeared on TV. Yesterday, Ethan even packed his things, waiting for his father to come pick him up. The principal coughed slightly, trying to stay professional and not say anything unnecessary. Apparently, she was worried about displeasing her sponsor, who had invested a lot of money in the development of the orphanage. Even though anyone can call Louis Dad, that doesn't mean he's actually the boy's father. Louis carefully examined the drawings, then asked where the boy's mother was. It turned out that no one knew. The child was left on the porch of the orphanage without a note. Police are investigating the case but have not yet obtained results. The boy did not know his name or address. Louis leaned over, scratching his head. He had had relationships with women and may have been careless, but having a child was unexpected. If it was really his child, he didn't want him to grow up in an orphanage. When walking into the hallway, Louis accidentally met Olivia, a young teacher who had just graduated from university. She apologized for her insistence and was worried about the boy, because he hadn't eaten anything since yesterday. Olivia said she found a photo of Louis in the archives and saw a certain resemblance. Louis gritted his teeth and looked at the young girl, handed over his card and asked her to ask more about the boy's mother. That evening, Louis meets his best friend Alex, who also grew up in an orphanage. Alex advised Louis to do a DNA test to clarify everything. Louis thought it was a good idea, and the next morning he called Olivia to ask for a lock of the boy's hair. They met at a coffee shop, and Olivia gave Louis a hair sample. The teacher was very excited and said that Ethan, who had been very quiet and obedient for the past 2 weeks, had been looking forward to his father. All night long, Louis remembered the past. He used to know a girl named Amelia. They met at a conference. Amelia dreams of creating designer clothes and one day opening her own clothing line. They only dated for a week. Then Louis realized he wasn't ready for a serious relationship and left without answering her phone calls. Is Amelia really Ethan's mother? Louis began searching for information about Amelia and discovered she had passed away a week ago in a hospice. Louis felt horrified and ashamed of what he had done. Louis realized that regardless of the DNA test results, he would adopt the boy to atone for his sins against his mother. He asked a lawyer to prepare the adoption documents and informed the orphanage director that he decided to adopt Ethan. He was afraid to meet the boy before receiving permission, knowing that becoming a foster parent would not be easy. A few days later, DNA results confirmed that Ethan was indeed Louis's son. Adoption just got easier. Olivia couldn't hold back her tears of joy when she heard the news, happy that the boy had finally found his father. Louis asked the principal to bring Ethan to see him without waiting for formalities. The boy was taken to the office, and Louis smiled, hugged the boy tightly, and said he would take him home. A month passed. Louis gradually got used to the new role of a father. Life gradually stabilizes. One day, he dreamed of Amelia. She said she forgave him and thanked him for not abandoning her son. Louis understood that dreams were just a game of the subconscious, but he really felt better. A year later, Louis got used to the role of a father. He proposed to Olivia after his adoption. They became close and she agreed to be his wife. Now, Louis has an unexpected and complete family. Ethan has a younger sister, and Louis's life becomes fuller than ever. David's story is a touching and meaningful story, bringing me many valuable lessons about life, about love, about sacrifice, and about each person's journey to maturity. I was most impressed with David's change and growth. From a lonely, emotionally deprived man, David became a loving and responsible father. He learned how to love, care, and take care of another person, something he had never done before. He also learned to be more patient, understanding, and tolerant. He learned to believe in himself and his abilities. David's story also showed me the importance of family and love. Despite the difficulties and challenges, David always gave Ethan boundless love. David's love for Ethan is also the source of motivation that helps him overcome all difficulties and challenges. In addition, the story also shows me that everyone can change and grow if they have enough strength and determination. David was once an emotionally deprived man and faced many difficulties in life. However, thanks to his love for Ethan, he gradually changed and became a better man. Overall, I appreciate David's story and believe it will bring readers many valuable lessons. Here are some specific thoughts and feelings I had while reading the story. I felt moved when I read about David's troubled past. I feel happy to witness David's change and growth. I feel touched by the boundless love that David has for Ethan. I admire David's strength and determination in overcoming all difficulties and challenges. I believe that David's story will bring readers many valuable lessons about life, love, sacrifice, and each person's journey to maturity.